You know, we spend about a third of our entire lives asleep. But what if the quality of that one-third completely dictates the quality of the other two-thirds? Well, today we're going to break down some really fascinating research from Stanford University about how to truly master your sleep. And as you'll see, it all boils down to the very first 90 minutes. So let me just ask you this right off the bat. Are you in sleep debt? Now, you might just think you're a little tired, maybe a bit sleep deprived. But the researchers at Stanford, they have a much more serious way of looking at it. They call it a debt for a reason, because just like financial debt, it adds up night after night. Every hour of sleep you miss is like taking out a small loan against your body, and the interest rate on that loan? It's incredibly high, hitting your brain, your physical performance, everything. And if you let it build up too much, you're heading for a total system bankruptcy. Yeah, so this isn't just about feeling a little groggy in the morning. This is a real hidden crisis. And honestly, the consequences are way more serious than most of us think. And get this, researchers argue that driving while you're deep in sleep debt can actually be more dangerous than drunk driving. Now, why would they say that? Well, with drunk driving, you at least know you're impaired. With sleep debt, you often have no idea just how badly you're performing until it's too late. This right here shows you exactly what I mean. This study looked at doctors after a night shift. See all those huge spikes on the top graph? Those are microsleeps. For a few seconds, their brain just checks out. It goes offline. They aren't reacting slowly. They are not reacting at all. Now imagine that happening when you're on the highway. It's truly terrifying.
So here's our game plan. We've seen the crisis. Next, we're going to look at why our usual fix doesn't really work. Then, we'll uncover the real secret to great sleep, the golden 90 minutes. After that, I'll show you 2 simple switches to activate it, and finally, we'll see the incredible things that can happen when you unlock all this.
Okay, so what do we all do when we're exhausted? We try to catch up on the weekend, right? But Stanford's research pretty much proves that this whole idea is based on a huge misunderstanding of how sleep actually works. See, we're all obsessed with the quantity of sleep. We're always trying to get more hours. But here's the big shift, the key finding from Stanford. It's not about how long you're in bed. It's about the quality and the structure of your sleep. That's what really moves the needle. And this chart, this just puts the final nail in the coffin for that whole weekend catch-up idea. The bottom line is this. To pay back even a small chronic sleep debt, it can take up to 3 weeks of extra sleep. So no, you just can't erase a whole week's worth of damage in 1 or 2 long nights. It doesn't work that way. So, if just sleeping more isn't the solution, what is? Well, this brings us to the absolute heart of the Stanford method, something they call the golden 90 minutes. I want you to look at this graph. It's basically a map of your sleep journey through the night. You see how you go through all these different cycles? But pay attention to that very first super deep dive right after you fall asleep. That plunge right there, that's everything. And that is what the researchers call the golden 90 minutes. It is, by far, the deepest, most restorative sleep you're going to get all night. And the craziest part is, the quality of this first chunk of sleep actually sets the tone for how good the rest of your night is going to be. So why is it so golden? Well, think of it like your body's critical overnight maintenance crew. This is when almost all of your daily growth hormone is released to repair your cells. It's when your nervous system gets a much-needed reboot. Your brain cleans out all the junk that's built up and locks in your memories. And maybe most important, it's the fastest way to relieve that sleep pressure that makes you feel so tired.
It really just boils down to this simple principle. A good start makes for a good whole. If you can nail that first 90-minute cycle, the rest of your night becomes way more efficient and restorative, even if you can't get a full 8 hours.
Okay, so this is all great in theory, right? The goal is to protect those golden 90 minutes, but how? How do we actually do that? Well, the Stanford method gives us 2 really simple, actionable tools. They call them the 2 switches. Think of these as the 2 main levers you can pull to make sure you drop into that deep, healing sleep as quickly as possible. The first is about your body temperature, and the second is all about your brain. Let's take a look. So first up is the body temperature switch. Now, for you to fall asleep, your internal core body temp has to drop. And the way your body does that is by releasing heat from the surface of your skin, especially your hands and feet. The trick is to help that process along. Things like taking a warm bath about 90 minutes before bed can work wonders, because that rapid cool down afterwards is a powerful signal to your brain that it's time to sleep. And second, we have the brain switch. You know that feeling? Your body is exhausted, but your mind is just racing. Your brain can't just slam on the brakes. It needs a transition, like a buffer zone. This means creating a simple, boring, repeatable routine, no screens, that tells your brain, okay, the day is officially done. Time to power down. So, what happens when you actually pay off that sleep debt and you start mastering these golden 90 minutes? Well, the results go way beyond just feeling less tired. We're talking about unlocking a whole new level of performance. I mean, just look at this data. This comes from a study where they had the Stanford basketball players sleep 10 hours a night for a few weeks to erase their sleep debt. And the results were just incredible. Their sprint times got way faster. Their shooting accuracy, both for free throws and three-pointers, went up significantly. They literally became better athletes just by sleeping better. All right, so let's wrap this up. What are the absolute key takeaways here? First, stop chasing hours and start focusing on quality. Second, remember that those first 90 minutes are the whole ballgame. Third, use those two switches, the body temperature and brain switches, to protect that critical time. And finally, understand that getting this right isn't just about feeling okay. It's about unlocking peak performance. I think this quote says it all. It's from a famous sleep researcher describing how he felt after finally getting his own sleep issues treated. He didn't say he felt a little better. He said it felt like he had a brain transplant. That's the level of transformation we're talking about. And that brings us right back to where we started. Investing in high-quality sleep isn't a waste of time. It's probably the single best investment you can make in the quality of your waking life. So I'll just leave you with this final thought for tonight. Your brain and body have a critical maintenance checklist they have to run through every single night. It's non-negotiable. The only real question is, are you giving them the time, and more importantly, the quality of time they need to get the job done?